Okay, good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 21 of Be With Me, season 6. That is, we're wandering and wondering through the book of Galatians. And today we're going to talk about the offense of the cross. That's our title today because it's the central element of Christianity. Yesterday we talked about if we don't do this right, then Christ is no advantage to us. And yesterday we kind of leaned into leveraging the activities and the accomplishment of the Lord, almost exploiting them in a good way. He wants to be believed in. He wants us to have faith in. He wants us to believe with effect and not perish and let our behavior mark our lives, demonstrating our correct belief. So yesterday we encouraged us to lean into his help. And today, what we're going to lean into is really disturbing, I think. And Paul tells the Galatians that this is ultimately just so offensive. So here we are. It's in Galatians 5, starting in verse 7. You were running well. Who hindered you from obeying the truth? This persuasion is not from him who calls you. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. So what he's saying here is, you guys started well, you were going great, and then somebody who hindered, so they probably got some stinking teaching, and that's been spreading, it's been leavening through the whole loaf. So he's trying to nip this in the bud. So here we go, verse 10. I have confidence in the Lord that you will take no other view than mine. So remember back in chapter 1, he was talking about another gospel, a distorted gospel, one that you should desert. It's different than the one given by the Lord, and he actually called it a gospel contrary. So basically it says it's one way or the highway. There's no plan B, there's no, secondary gospel. All right, verse 10. I have confidence in the Lord that you will take no other view than mine, and the one who is troubling you will bear the penalty, whoever he is. And then this is the big verse for today. But if I, brothers, still preach circumcision, why am I being persecuted? In that case, the offense of the cross has been removed. So Paul is saying, I am sticking to the real gospel. And here's how I know, because I'm still being persecuted. And why am I being persecuted? And that is because the gospel is offensive. The gospel is offensive. Let's talk about that. All right, I'm going to tell you everything that I could think of just this morning. There's more, I'm sure, about why the gospel is offensive. Here, number one, these aren't numbered, that you are not okay. In fact, you are so bad that you need a rescue, and many of you are so bad that you don't even know that you need a rescue. So in other words, you're so bad that you think you're not bad. But the point is, God has to come and save you. That's how bad you are. God himself, an intergalactic rescue mission has to be enacted because of the problem that we have here today. And by the way, you cannot save yourself. Well, I don't like that because I want to earn my way by activities and actions. And this is what the Galatians, that's their big problem, is they say, well, I can do this by the traditions of men or by the church I go to. And here's what he's saying. This is offensive too, that you do not have the resources to play by the rules that satisfy God. You are in trouble and you have no way out that you can figure out. So that's offensive. So about your pride, that is hey, and everything else in my life, I've worked hard and figured stuff out, and, I've conquered this in my life. Okay, so that's offensive. Other things, I don't like the rules that God has to this salvation game. That is that he is so holy. He is burning bright light holiness, and he doesn't like sin, but he likes justice. So how's God going to figure this out? Well, he said that he's able to accept a secondary or a substitutional justice or payment for sin by somebody else in your favor. So he's so serious about sin that we have to play by his rules, his worldview, his creation, his creature. Wait, I'm created and I'm not the boss of the world. I didn't make the rules. Okay, well, I don't like that either. Okay, well, you really won't like this then. This is really offensive. The offense of the Old Testament is that that God is satisfied by the giving of a life. Now, for a long time, it was with animals, with innocent animals, by the way. They didn't do anything wrong. And so one of the points of this is that the Old Testament is like specifically cruel, if you will, to animals because it points to how offensive we are to God. So the whole SPCA, Society of Prevention of Cruelty of Animals, it's a godly organization. So I don't like that. That innocence has to be killed to satisfy God. That the Lord is satisfied by blood and the bearing of suffering that innocent thing didn't deserve. Animals in the Old Testament and now Jesus. So here we go to Jesus. What's offensive is that the worst punishment and the worst suffering is necessary to fix the nasty sin that I have. And I'm just one verse from Isaiah 53, verse 3, that he, Jesus, so this describes a moment in time from the Old Testament that is looking ahead, describing Jesus on the cross. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. And then here's the verse, as one from whom men turn their faces. I heard a story this week of a guy who broke his arm so bad skiing that he's laying there in the snow and his arm was facing in an unnatural position. And it was so offensive to himself that he took his good hand and he put it on the side of his face towards the fracture and hid his face from his own horror. Well, that is the picture of how offensive the cross is times, a million. And the horror is, wait, my sin required this? Yes, that's the offense of the cross. Your sin, your offense required a sacrifice by a perfect Savior on a cross that was so horrible that people couldn't even look at it. That is the offense of the cross that Paul is maintaining. There's no plan B. It is offensive or it is nothing. All good news today. Thanks for listening.